The South African Police Service Top Brass, led by Acting Minister Firoz Cachalia, are today visiting various sites as part of festive season operations in KwaZulu-Natal. Newzroom Afrika's Ziyanda Ngcobo is on that following the story and joins us live from the N3 Marion Hill Toll Plaza near Pinetown. Ziyanda, I can imagine for a province like KwaZulu-Natal, many driving there for beaches, but of course as well we know that this is the gateway to neighboring countries as well. Tell us what the operation on the ground there is looking like.
Well, we're at the N3 Marion Hill Toll Plaza, where the operations that we heard the top brass of the South African Police Service speaking about, well, they are currently underway in conjunction with the eThekwini Metro Police Department. Vehicles are being checked. The top brass is to my left, and the acting minister is also on another side. I'm going to try and just bring in the National Police Commissioner, Fani Masimola, about what you've managed to observe so far. This is a very busy toll gate. If those who drive frequently into Durban, they know that this is the last stop before you're officially in eThekwini. Your operation so far?
Thanks very much to you and your viewers. Up to so far, it is going quite okay. The traffic is quite busy. It's a busy road. Up to so far, the police were able to arrest more or less 6 people that had outstanding warrant for traffic-related offences, and there is 2 illegal immigrants that are being verified. Possibly they will be detained. Otherwise, the traffic's moving well. A lot of people are behaving. Nobody's drunk up to so far, and we are happy. That's the way they're supposed to behave.
I mean, the marching orders from the minister were clear, but also reflecting on other issues that have been fully ventilated at the Madlanga Commission. As far as you are concerned, the men and women in blue, how is their morale at this stage? This is a very critical time for the police service.
The morale is quite, it has been a bit low, but slowly it's improving, and we thank the members for their dedication and commitment. They are still on the work. They are doing their work day and night, very hard. So we appreciate what they're doing, and we say, keep on doing the work. Let's keep on serving the public. Of course, the commission will continue with its work and do what it does from there. Will, of course, comply whatever comes out of the commission. But let's stay focused. Let's continue doing our work. Let's continue serving the public.
All right, that's the Police Commissioner, Fani Masimola. Let's take you to the Provincial Commissioner, being Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. He's also here, boots on the ground.
Means that commit crime. It's a certain percentage. The researchers will tell you about 20% of the population are the ones that are really causing problems. So our approach has always been about identifying those people that are perpetrators of crime, and we go hard on them. So we only do that by reaching out to communities to identify and tell us that a particular individual that lives in the community, he lives a fancy life but is unemployed, so that we start profiling those people. But as we do that, we start realizing that they are indeed involved with criminality. So and then we tackle them. So as soon as we take them out of society and we take them through the justice system, we find that the crime in that area goes down because we minus that one individual. A typical example, this morning, I'm just using as an example. There's a group of boys that have been terrorizing communities here in Clermont, in Pinetown, contributing a lot of crime in the area. But they were arrested in Ziyanda, found in their house. 5 firearms recovered from them. This morning, 5 firearms recovered from them. When we profile them, they're involved with a spate of crime. So once we remove people like that out of society, then we start seeing the crime going down. Because it really tells you that it's not majority of the communities that are causing that, but it's a selected few. That if we deal with those selected few, then we see the figures that we are seeing.
And then we still have the issue. I mean, during this period, one of the issues, unfortunately, it's like a script. You find a massacre, you find these mass murders, these things happen during this period. And this December has been no different. We've seen some bloody murders as well. In that regard, do you think that you are still able to get into those communities and reach them? Because these things are happening within homestays and within homes.
Yeah, well, look, there's nothing that can help us other than reaching out to communities. We can only prevent crime if people are playing their part and helping us. What we see a lot of incidents, we've been fortunate in KZN that there hasn't been as much as what we've seen with the other provinces like Gauteng and Western Cape in the main. But what we found to be the biggest contributing factors on this are liquor outlets. So as we get into festive season, we convene meetings with these owners of these establishments. And when we try and give safety tips of how can they better manage their patrons that are coming to those establishments, what they must be on the lookout for. But you still cannot take away that people have got grudges and they aim to attack each other in places where they feel the others are vulnerable. So of course, when they go and entertain themselves, and you won't find people being exposed and such. However, the biggest challenge that we have seen and what we're trying to address as a province in the main are these illegal establishments, because that's where we find a lot of these activities. So as we tackle them, we confiscate alcohol and we find them and we arrest some of the people. There's lesser places where people gather and they do wrong things. Those that are unregistered are the ones that tend to cause a lot of problems. But in general, we do hope that during this time, as people are having a lot of activities, functions in the areas, faction fights that normally have been happening are going down, and because people are able to sit down and talk to each other. So we do a lot of those social crime prevention activities to try and discourage people from taking out their frustration through the violent means.
You've said to me before that you never asked for a commission and it happened as a result of what had been out in the public domain. But recently we saw the murder of a witness, Marius van der Merwe there. I want to know, what is your reaction, or how did you react when you found out about what had taken place, even though we don't know if it was as a result of the commission?
Yeah, well, we've been engaging with the colleagues in Gauteng. As when people are testifying, we then ask ourselves a question as to, you hear information that talks about crime. So what case have we registered, or what inquiry do we have, to allow us to investigate? And for those that have been spoken about, we can begin a process of taking them through the justice system. When an incident like that happened, it worried me. Actually, the worry I started when that gentleman came public and he spoke about what he spoke about. And openly so. Yes, his face might not have been seen, but his voice, for those that knows that were part of that crime, they could identify who was the person talking. And it became a worry from there as to the safety of that individual. So the incident, when it happened, the minute it happened, the colleagues gave me assurance at Gauteng that they are working very hard to try and trace the people that are involved. But there are many other witnesses that came forward to come and testify. We do hope that the protection structure that has been established by the Commission will help them. But for those that have got information, we encourage them to reach out to the law enforcement so that we can be able to help them.
Commissioner, if I could just get a question in there as we contend with the noise that's busy here. Commissioner, if you could just tell us, it's almost a year since that now infamous disbandment letter of the 31st of December. Your reflections, you in many aspects started all of this.
It's been a year, eh?
It has been. You've kept us very busy.
This time last year we're busy with.
Yeah.
Trying to fight crime, trying to reduce, creating a safety environment for citizens. But unfortunately, as I said before, I believe there are people that were behind the influence of such a letter. I'm still here to be proven different. Yes, I heard the minister saying that he did it out of his own. I don't buy that. I still don't buy it. Someone whispered to me. He might have drafted it, yes, he might have written it, but there's someone was behind it. And we're going to get the reason behind.
Still willing to come back for phase 3 in case the commission still has more questions to ask you about? We are still currently in phase 2 of the commission.
Look, I've said I'm a civil servant. Myself and the colleagues that are here, that are sacrificing their time over this festive period, working, protecting society. If we are called to come and account in government or any structure of government, it's not optional. we must go there. So whenever they say to us, come here and come and answer this, we have to go there and answer that because that's our job. That's what we must do.
And some of the concerns that you've raised, have they been solved? In particular, yours was about interference. Now, you're here on the ground, it's busy, you're the man in charge of the operations, but you had raised concerns about, political interference. Minister Cachalia's here, the relationship so far.
Yeah, well, the minister is leading, and this is what we're expecting, that the minister will give us a policy direction on things and then allow the operations to be detected by the people who are running operations. I'm here, the National Commissioner is here as our boss. I'm here as a boss of the province. I've got my colleague here who's running operations in the province, but we are currently standing at the roadblock. Guess what? Neither he, nor myself, nor the National Commissioner in charge. There's a commander of this roadblock. There's a person in charge. And if I have issues that I want to address, I must address it to him. I can't just come and interfere on this roadblock because he's a commander, he's in charge. It is that what we are expecting, so that you don't interfere in other people's areas. No matter what is your authority, respect the chain of command. So that was the cry that we had as to when you decide to enter the space on operations, talk to us so that we can explain why we're doing what we're doing. So the minister engages us. We were in the boardroom this morning. We briefed him about our strategies to fight crime. And he was shocked when he learned that we've arrested so many people in the province. And he said, but you are so famous about shooting people. And yet you've got thousands of them that you've arrested, which maybe does not get into the news. But we arrest a lot of people. And there's a fraction of the people that are getting involved in a shootout. I spoke this morning about 5 firearms that were recovered. The suspects that were...
All right, we seem to have lost our connection there as our reporter Ziyanda Ngcobo was speaking to the commissioner, but it seems that we've established that connection. Let's listen in once again.
So far, we haven't had issues as a province. And if we do have anything that we feel we must raise, we will raise it through the structures we tried with the current suspended minister. That's the only thing we can never do. We won't defy the executive authority if there's issues they want to raise with us. We'll take directives and we'll act. We expect them to tell us that this is the direction we must move to. Then we direct it to the commanding officers on the ground so that direction that is guided by the executive authority is taken. Not for the executive authority to bypass all of us and go to the ground and say that what must happen, because it creates a dysfunction in the system.
They lost our connection. Can we resume?
Let's start perhaps PC by looking at...
All right, our reporter there, Ziyanda Ngcobo, speaking to the KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Police Commissioner, Umkhanyakude, in regards to the Madlanga Commission, saying that, of course, he's a public servant and if he needs to return for Phase 3, he will be back. They shared a moment there where he said, would remember the disbandment of that letter last year on the 31st of December, saying that this is, of course, the events that triggered it all. And his remarks in regards to that.
In order to serve.
A lot has been said about the PKTT PC. What is the status of the PKTT currently? Is it still continuing with its business?
Don't do crime so they don't chase you.
They are in existence, I guess.
Don't do crime, otherwise they'll be on your back.
They are still in existence.
Hard at work.
Thank you so much.
All right, that's KZN Police Commissioner Umkhanyakude. Just one more question coming from the floor.
There's been a string of cash and transit robberies in the province of late. What are your thoughts on that and how are the police responding to that?
Organized. There are some administrative things that we're having challenges on to allow us to do our work properly the way we're supposed to. I'm told that the matter has been addressed because we need a judge to be appointed to help us to do some of the work that we need to do so that we're able to infiltrate these criminals. I'm told that there's been 2 judges shortlisted, been interviewed. I hope within a month we're going to have a judge appointed, because for us to do the job we need to have a judge that is appointed by government. That is the first problem that we need to address. So, but secondly, the management of crime intelligence that has gone back to work, at least it's giving us some confidence that we start seeing some work being done. Some of the criminals have been identified by our intelligence community in KZN. Few of them that are that have been arrested in Mpumalanga yesterday. I'm sure you heard about it. And the number of firearms recovered. They are not only operating in Mpumalanga. I think they were planning another heist. They are not only operating there. There are some of the criminals that are involved in our province. We've had a couple of shooting incidents in this past 2 or 3 weeks. You heard somewhere next to Midlovo, there was a shooting incident that happened that involved cash in transit heist. I think 4 of them were fatally wounded in that incident. So the intelligence members that we have in the province, they are working very hard to recruit sources, informers that are providing information to the members. But we still have a lot of breakaway splinter groups from the main groups that we have. And some of them, they happen because they fight over money and they break away and then they start creating their own splinter groups. But we still remain with the challenges of the staff that works within some of these companies. We've had an incident on the N2 not long ago, I'm sure you heard about it. The employee that was driving that truck is subject to investigation because of some activities that was involved with prior to that heist happening. When you are reporting a vehicle to have broken down, you're having a problem with a fan belt of the car. It breaks down on the freeway, you call your command center that I'm having a problem with the mechanical problem with the vehicle. Literally 5 minutes later, the vehicle is stopped on the side of the road and then you report the CIT. When did the criminals know about the breakdown of the car? So you definitely know something about it. So we find a lot of those things that is coordinated through either people that are in shops where the pickup of the money is happening, or the people that are within the companies. So we are looking at all these things, but it's not only that which we're trying to do as management, as the police in KZN. We are through our colleagues at the head office trying to engage with SABRIC, trying to engage with the Reserve Bank to find another means to protect this money. Because it's easy for them to bomb a vehicle and the money is scattered all over and they take the money and they go. But if were to attempt to bomb that vehicle and you literally destroy the money, I'm sure they're going to be discouraged from you. That is one of the interventions that we are crying for. But we've been pleading and we are still pleading with society. Businesses in the main, the more we move to cashless society, the better for us. Because these cash in transit are happening because there are different companies that are collecting cash payments. You will end up at the end of the day with 200,000 rand in your safe and another one 500,000 rand. Then you hire this company to come and pick your 200 and pick another money somewhere else. They end up with 10 million rand in this car to go and put it in the safe somewhere and it gets attacked on the road. To minimize that is to take away that opportunity of money. So the lesser you have the cash, the better. So there are even shopping centers that are like in the country in some shops where they don't take cash. You come with your card, you swap your card and you go. And then therefore they don't have any need of the movement of cash. So it's such interventions that we want. We want that voluntary business proposals that people must implement in business, different business must try and implement such. Because it's going to help us to mitigate. Yes, we can talk about we can't get rid of cash. In the rural areas, people need cash. But there's less opportunities in rural areas. Yes, they rob tuck shops. But people in tuck shops, you don't get a cash vehicle to come and collect money in a tuck shop to go and do a banking. No, they go to affluent shops, big shops, in the shopping centers and the likes where they collect this cash. So if we cut off money in those places, there are going to be minimum transactions, and that will help us to prevent crime. So we do hope that we can be assisted in that.
Commissioner, if I could ask you to change tact once again. The interim report of the Madlanga Commission is on the President's desk. Your reflections on how testimonies have been going so far?
Well, I'm happy the fact that whatever is happening in the Commission, whatever is happening in Parliament is under the camera. You, the media, are covering that. We are showing the whole country, we are showing us what's happening. And that transparency, I think it helped all of us to get to see the extent of the problem that we have. And as society in large, we'll be able to come up with solutions. And we can then be able to judge the outcome of these commissions, whether the outcome that is going to be published, we had the President committed that the final report will be made public. So the outcome thereof will make the society comfortable about the the things that they've already been listened to, that has been happening, that is part of the report and the recommendations thereof. And I'm sure public in general, they might also have their own inputs of what needs to be done to change the status quo. Because we all want a better criminal justice system in the country.
Do you feel vindicated? Speaking of judges, we know that a sitting judge of the High Court has been arrested. It's about another matter. But initially, when you had made the allegation about the judge overseeing the crime intelligence officers, some believe that you may have just been clutching at straws.
No, look, it's unfortunate because, as I said before, we're not supposed to be go out public. We're supposed to investigate and arrest and take it to court. But when those that are supposed to help us to process those that are arrested become part of the problem, it then frustrates us. It makes us powerless. Now, if the law says do it like this, but the people use the very same powers that are given to them by the legislation to decide whether to prosecute or not to prosecute, to decide whether to grant bail or not bail, to decide on the seriousness of an offense and the sentence to give to that person, we are left with a client that is not satisfied. We are the one on the ground that interacts with the client, the victim of crime. But when we talk to the colleagues and the colleagues don't see the importance of that, it pains us. So that's why we felt that we needed to come out and raise it. It really was to allow us an opportunity to be able to do that which we're supposed to do. So it's not about me personally, as I said before. Whatever I communicated was a consolidation of the feeling of the colleagues, the frustration that the men and women are going through. So I was just a mouthpiece standing on their behalf to try and communicate that to the citizens and to the leadership to do something about it. And these interventions that we've seen thus far has to some degree allowed police officers a space, have allowed our colleagues from the NPA, some of them space, and some judges, it has allowed them the space to say, let's take our decision independently. You look at the matter of the members of crime intelligence that were arrested. The members themselves that were arrested for whatever that case of the appointment of that lady, they were arrested, but they couldn't talk about the status of the case themselves. Had they spoken about it, no one was going to believe them because they are arrested. But when we started putting her to the fore, they went to court and they presented this court. You saw the outcome of the court case. The judge even said, why will the magistrate issue a court order that the state did not ask for? You ban people from entering premises of crime intelligence in the whole country. For what reason? There can only be one reason. You want to satisfy the criminal enterprise that is out there to be able to operate. So I'm happy that our action and what we are seeing happening now is allowing us to do the work. That's all what we were crying for. The outcome of the commission is not necessarily much important for us. For us, what is important is an opportunity being created now. So we've got people in custody, we have people in court, and that is what we've been crying for. So we are happy. So far, this is all what we had asked for. The outcome thereof and consequences of other people who did what, that's for the president, that is for parliament. But for us as law enforcement, we are already happy with what is happening because we are now able to hit the road running and be able to take the perpetrators to court.
Thank you very much. That's KZN Police Commissioner Umkhanyakude reflecting on some of the issues. It's been a year, he admits. It's been quite the year. And reflecting on some of what has happened at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, the man who set all of these actions into the fore and bringing those allegations. So he says, very happy so far. They're able to hit the ground running as we stand here at the N3 Marion Hill Toll Plaza. It's a hive of activity, but so too has it been for the probes that are looking into some of the allegations that he has made. And it has been damning, scary at times, sometimes good, sometimes humorous, but certainly for the men and women in blue who have had to continue holding the fort, they have been able to do so now more freely, according to Umkhanyakude, because of that action that he took on the 6th of July this year.
Ziyanda and Ngcobo, they're coming to us from the N3 in KwaZulu-Natal with that update.